The, the sea park in the far northern part of Japan was famous for their domestic mer people exhibit by rehabilitating them. So they say, anyways. After the discovery of mer people were highly sought after, and many were caught and bred into I cannot say this word even though I say it all the time. Domestication. Some were kept as flashy and impressive pets for the rich, while most were kept as sea parks and aquariums. Welcome to Deca City Sea Park, everyone. I am your host, Uraka, and welcome to the 11 a.m. show, Merfolk Show. Uraka announced to the crowd. Let me introduce you the fellow aquatic trainer, Momo and Sue. The crowd clapped. God. Why is there so many big words for my dyslexic self? Okay, I'm just gonna skip the part. For the show to start as the young kids and teens ran down to the deep pool in hopes to see a merman up close. Now, I know you all want to see the star of the show. Meet our fiery-tempered merman, Katsuki Bakugo, Momo shouted. A fiery red merman jumped out of the water, his scales shimmering in the sun. Meet our calm and cool Shoto. Soto jumped from the water as the dazzle in the sun, his red and white scales. And last, and certainly not least, our sweet cinnamon rolls, Izuku. Suyu announced. The third merman jumped out of the water was the mer Izuku. Though most saw him as plain, his tail was a pretty ocean green. It was hard to see underwater. The crowd went wild at the tricks and stunts they were shown. Uchako, Momo, and Sue were trainers at the part. They were here to take care of the creatures and, entertain the masses. Does everyone know the difference between a domestic and a wild merman or mermaid? Momo asked the crowd. Domestic merfolks were bred in captivity and lost many of their wild instincts and tend to be more friendly than their wild cousins, Momo explained. Wild merfolk are more angelic and more energetic than domestic because they are fed and taken care of for their whole life. Also, because of selective breeding, they gave up a more powerful tail for flashy, elegant fins. Suyu added. Up to a VIP stand booth sat the owner of the sea park and the close business partner. The two watched as the mermen and their trainers entertained the crowd with tricks, stunts, and entertaining with the crowd. So those three are the most popular attraction, huh? Indeed, although Katsuki is a bit temperamental and hard to train, Izuku is pretty cooperative, the owner said. Put the most plain-looking out of the three, though. Yeah, that is a bit on the downside, Kai, the owner spoke. You know, we recently caught a beautiful wild mermaid. Maybe we can breed her with one of your mermen, Kai suggested. Wouldn't that be illegal breeding? And how do you know this mermaid is as beautiful as you say? The owner questioned. Why would I lie to you? If if we could breed one of your merman, we could have some very hospitable offsprings, Kyrie sorted. Bring her tonight and I'll try to get everything ready, the owner whispered. The water tasted funny. It wasn't like home. As I opened my eyes, I could see the gray was gray and glass. I was held in a small compartment, the sides that labeled to the bigger opening as barred off. As I sat, I thought long and hard on what I last remember when it all came back. My pond was migrating to the island of Espera, a place where all mythical creatures were safe. Somehow, we were interrupted by humans, and suddenly there was a giant flash of light. Suddenly there was a loud bang, pulling me out of my thoughts as the bars started to lower, leaving an opening for me. Swimming through the opening quickly only to find a bigger cage, all around as gray and glass. But there was a few tall rocks that poked above the water. I could see beyond the pitch black of the night through the glass. Just above the surface, I could see figures staring down at me. I quickly wedged myself into a small cave in the makeshift rocks and hid. Uchaka, Sue, Momo, you have a new mer to train today, the owner said simply. Really? What's his name? Momo asked excitedly. Her name is Yin, the owner said simply while working on other paperwork. We'll do our best, sir, Yu said. This is why I need to start doing it at night, because I'm keep yawning. Ooh. The three left the office, excited to see the new mermaid. As they made their way to the side pool, but it was empty. Hey Jiro, where is the new mermaid? Ichako asked. Oh, I think Denki let her into the main pool last night. She might still be hiding, Jiro said, cleaning up and the last bit of pool supplies. Can we try to lure her out by letting in the others? Suyu suggested. With a nod, they unlatched the gate and the three mermen quickly swam out of the pool. They quickly picked up that there was something off and went on the alert for the intruders. Yin, too, peeked out on the new creatures as she slowly poked her head out of her small little cave. Azuka was the first to notice as he slowly crept closer to the new stranger. But because of his larger frame and muscles, the cave was too small for him. But then the other two grew curious as they tried to push the other out of the way to get a look at the stranger. Looks like she's under the rocks, and I think the boys are scaring her more than encouraging her to get out, Uchako said with a sigh. Well, let's give them breakfast, Suyu said simply. Momo quickly grabbed a prepared pail of fish and rang the food bell. Just like that, Katsuki and Shoto lost interest and went to the surface for food. But Izuku lingered. He was too entranced by the eye-colored staring back at him. This was the first time in his life to meet a female of his species, but he soon left to get breakfast. Ian slowly peered out of the hidey hole to see the three males happily being fed food. She felt her stomach growl in hunger as she watched them happily eat as the fish was tossed to them. Yet her pride wouldn't let her stuck to that level and beg humans for food. So she sat there. Oh my gosh, she sat there in her cave when suddenly the light was blocked by a green-haired merman. Ian stared at him with suspecting eyes as the boy started to push a small pile of fish into the cave. I'm sorry for all these yawnings. She looked up at the merman to see that a small blush smiled on his face. So she led up and happily took the boy's offer, filling her stomach. Suddenly, there was another ring, and all of the mermen quickly swam to the surface. Yin curiously slowly left her cave and scaled the side of the rock to the rest upon above the surface. She watched as the mermen performed tricks and stunts at the beck and call of those humans. She was at awe of the stunts, but felt a pinch of anger at the thought of rolling over and playing dog for humans. As Yin watched, Uchako and Momo quickly noticed the new mermaid. Momo exclaimed, her tail and fins and noticed that her fins were very streamlined. She quickly put together that this mermaid is wild and isn't domestic. And it is illegal to have a wild caught mixed with domestics. She should be in rehab to be treated and or released back into the wild. Weeks went by, and the higher-ups did nothing to fix the error and let the four stay together. Bakugo didn't really care about Yin and minded his own business. Shoto was pretty much the same, though you could see the two interact sometimes, while Izuku was practically attached to the hip with Yin, whether if she wanted him to be or not. Even when she could retreat to her cave, he would wait outside just for her. Yin still grew to love Izuku, yet she still longed for her freedom. Izuku, of course, noticed and tried his hardest to help Yin adjust to the new home, but she refused to listen to the trainers and tend to steal the food from them as well. The tension between the humans and her was becoming more and more tense by the day. Yin, are you okay? Izuku asked from the cave opening. I'm fine. Why do you ask? Yin asked over the sound of the banging metal. Well, you seem to be getting more in trouble with the humans, Izuku asked slowly. And? Yin asked. Well, they would give you all the food you want as long as you do stunts we practice, so you don't have to fight against them, you know? Izuku tried to reason. I can't. Then it would oh my god. Then it would feel like I'm playing dog for the humans, and I'm not a pet, Yin said as she poked her head out of the cave. You're not. The humans are here to take care of us, Izuku said as he scooted closer to her. By making us work for food? Yin sighed. Izuku, I'm happy that you can thrive in these conditions, but what's wrong here? Izuku asked, trying to hardest to understand. These conditions just reminds me that, well, what was stripped away from me, Yin said sadly. What was taken away from you? He asked. I could not go as far as I wanted. The ocean was open for me. If I was hungry, I could go out and get it myself. I was free to do whatever I wanted, Yin said dreamily. That sounds scary. What if a predator attacks you? Or what if you can't catch food and starve? Izuku asked in a worried tone. Well, there are pros and cons to everything. But to me, the pros to go outside but outweigh the cons, Yin said as she retreated back into her cave. Yin, wait! Izuku called as he um, peeked into the cave. Suddenly, there was a loud wince of metal. Izuku panicked as he reached to feel around for Yin, but couldn't find her. Yin, Izuku called as he looked into the cave. But she was gone. Time seemed to slow down as he stared at the empty cave. Soon Shoto and Bakugo came to inspect what was wrong. What's wrong, Izuku? Shoto asked simply. Yin is gone, Izuku said shakily. Who? Bakugo asked. The one who acted up against the humans, Shoto said simply. Why do I sound like a toddler? Well, hope she found what she was looking for, as all Bakugo said as he swam off. Ooh, sorry, I needed to make that a little bit longer. Alright, let's continue. It was about a week later, and Izuku led near the entrance of the cave, waiting for Yin to maybe come back. Izuku never moved from his spot. The world he once loved became dull and gray. His sun disappeared as he started to ignore the calls of his humans. Where did Yin go? And what is wrong with one of our animals? The owner demanded over the phone. We don't know where the wild caught went, and it appears that Izuku has fallen into a depression with her absence, Momo explained over the phone. Ichako and Sue stared down into the pool as they worried about Izuku. Shoto tried to cheer up his friend as the best he could, while Bakugo told him to stop being sad. Izuku slowly started to lose some of his muscles from the lack of food and less movement. Shoto slowly approached Izuku in hopes to make him feel better, while Katsuki just watched from a distance. You know, if you miss her that much, then just follow her, Katsuki sneered. We already know where she got out, Shoto said as he wedged his way into the cave. And like Yin, he disappeared into the cave. Katsuki soon followed afterwards, with Izuku slowly following the other two. As Izuku slowly made his way through the cramped cave, Katsuki, wiggled down a manhole, and they in the very back of the cave. The bars were chipped away and even ripped apart. Looking down into a hole, he could tell I went down far. The three swam through the dark pipes and soon found themselves in a place they'd never seen before. The water tasted saltier, and the opening seemed to go on forever. The tall kelp seemed to be abandoned. It almost looked like forest of some kind. Izuku became curious, waving through the kelp, seeing all sorts of beautiful fish and creatures. Bakugo and Shoto just quickly followed Izuku, unsure of how to feel about this foreign place. Izuku stopped. As he heard a hum in the distance, he quickly followed the sound to see Yin, relaxing in the sunlight on the seafloor. Yin! Izuku called out as he swam over to her. Izuku, what are you doing here? What are you all doing here? Yin asked beyond confusion. Deku missed you so much. He was going to let himself wither away, Katsuki sneered. I was curious on what the outside world was like, Shoto said simply. Yin stared at Izuku confidently. She stuck around, because she wanted to say goodbye to Izuku one last time, yet she couldn't bring herself to do so. But she didn't want to drag Izuku into the wild, since he and his friends wouldn't know how to survive the wilderness. So, where is this place you wanted to go? Izuku asked excitedly. Hespera, but that's 2,471 miles away, Yen answered. The others stared in shock as in the great distance. Well, you don't have to come, but if it was fun meeting you all, especially you, Izuku, Yin said as she kissed him on the cheek. I don't want to be separated from you anymore. And I'm happy that you stayed around, because maybe we stayed here. I'm out in the wild and close enough to be swallowed for my comfort, Izuku suggested. Alright, but if the humans start to snoop around here, I'm traveling across the ocean, Yen sighed. Izuku smiled as he pulled Yen close. Yay! The happy ending! So, sorry for all the yawns. I have to apologize for a lot of things. The video decided to cut out in the beginning, so that's why there's like a little tiny little thing. And I usually record these at night when I'm not tired, so that's also a main reason why I yawn in my videos. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you all next time. Dang it, you guys have 3 Bakugos in a row. I want more characters. But basically, thank you all for listening, and bye, lovelies.